If you've ever been interested in losing weight, then you will know how hard it can be, especially in those early days when you're taking those very first steps, when your lifestyle is so far from where you want it to be. It's a massive hurdle. When we know that the gut microbiome, your mental health, when so many things can work against you, this can be one of the hardest pits to climb out of. Today, I'm going to bring you a success story. We are talking about Maria. If you are on Instagram, go and give her a follow. It's at the Scottish Happy Vegan. I recommend giving her a follow. She posts the most amazing food almost every single day. It just looks flawless. If you are trying to get more plants into your diet and you're like, what? Where do I start with this? Go and give her a follow, because trust me, she just makes it completely effortless. Today, I just want to talk to you all and, tell you about her journey, because I think for anyone out there who is struggling, be it with their mental health, be it with their weight, Maria's journey really shows everyone that it's completely possible. Not only to survive on a plant-based diet, but to thrive, to be eating a really broad range of foods every single day and, not to be completely restricted, not to be malnourished and under-eating, but to instead be doing better. So why don't we get started at the beginning, where she first made that decision to switch to a plant-based diet. Now, I've spoken to Maria pretty much every single day since I started Go Plant-Based, but even then I had no idea of the starting point for Maria. The very, very early days in her journey were quite hard. She was very concerned for her health. She'd got to the point where she felt so large that she felt limited in her life, her mental health was affected, and she just knew she had to make a difference. Now, the reason I say the start of Maria's journey was quite hard is not just because getting yourself into that new lifestyle is difficult, but because Maria at this point was seriously concerned for her well-being. In her words, I was scared I would die and leave my boys motherless, and that broke my heart. This is someone who genuinely wants to make a difference to their health, not just fit into a new dress, not just lose weight and become skinny, to actually be here and be well. And I think this is something that a lot of us don't necessarily make the connection between. The fact that the food that we put in our body directly affects our health. Different foods have different effects, and I think this is one of the biggest connections that we can make when we start to see progress. This idea that our goal and what stands between us and our goal is actually achievable when we make changes to our lifestyle. At the start, Maria was very depressed, fed up with life, and she'd gotten herself into quite a vicious cycle. Again, in Maria's words, I had to go on my hands and knees to pull myself out the bath. I was mortified at my size, and I knew I was unhealthy. Maria was definitely ready to see a change. Around the same time, Maria's husband, Des, was diagnosed with leukemia. So both of them were in a position where they knew that they kind of needed to make a change for the better. What can we do? How can we change our lifestyle to see some better results than this? And to simplify their journeys, that's exactly what they both did. 2 years later, Maria describes herself as a different person. In her words, my mental health is so much better. My anxiety is nothing compared to what it was. I feel healthy, happy, strong, fit, and really thankful that I did this. It's mind-blowing to think food can make you feel this way and heal your body. Just amazing. Now, that last point, again, it's almost what I was saying a second ago. We kind of forget the power that food has over our well-being. When we see it as just another meal or just a snack, we can kind of forget that we literally are made up of what we eat. Every cell in our body comes from our food. Our mental health is affected by certain compounds in our food. Our gut health relies heavily on our food. The filter systems in our body, the liver, the kidneys, they are obviously going to be affected by nutrition. The very things that we put into our body are ultimately what passes through them. So this can definitely explain how Maria managed to change her health and how she was feeling just by altering her lifestyle. 2 years on, and they are both 10 stone lighter collectively. 6 stone, 10 pounds of that is Maria's progress herself. And what I find really amazing is I think now more than ever, Maria's finally kind of moving away from calorie counting. That kind of restrictive mentality seems to be fading from the way that Maria's approaching her lifestyle now. She's introduced a really broad spectrum of whole foods and plants, and the progress seems to be being achieved quite naturally, which is really nice. And this is where making those changes over a long period of time, 2 years is relatively quick. But that's where the slower progress is really important, because as you build those habits, the lasting effects, the continuous progress up until a point is a little bit more guaranteeable, because you've not gone on a crash diet. You've not made an overnight switch to something that you're not going to be able to keep up. You've introduced new habits. You've changed the way you view food. And ultimately, this is where progress gets made. Now, it's worth mentioning that this isn't just something that Maria's achieved with diet. She's a lot more active now than she used to be. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll see that she's often hiking. She's taking her exercise a lot more seriously. So this is where it's important to recognize that it's never just one thing. You don't just change your diet overnight and all of the results that you expect are just going to happen in a few weeks' time. This, like I say, it's about the habits, but it's also about exploring all of the areas in your lifestyle that are limiting you achieving your goals. Now, it might sound stupid, but for some people, this could be something as simple as breathing incorrectly. Now, breathing can affect your chances of falling asleep at night. If this affects your sleep can then affect your metabolism, which can affect how you burn through your fat or store more. Now, I'm not trying to argue that breathing is what's relevant here. My point is that lifestyle is complex, and there are so many different things that are connected. This is why calorie counting and this idea that weight loss is achieved when you're in a calorie deficit only is becoming perhaps overemphasized. The energy equation is a major part of whether we store or lose fat. But inflammation, sleep quality, the microbiome, there are too many different variables at play to just say it's this one thing. So that's why I wanted to mention that Maria did not just change her diet. Maria has made a massive change to her lifestyle. She's a lot more active, and her health is much more important to her, I think possibly for the first time in her life. So beyond plant-based, what kind of food is Maria eating day to day? Like I said, go give her a follow, have a little look. It is broad, vibrant, colourful. Every meal is different, and that's what I think is really understated, how important that is to not just be eating the same food day in, day out. Maria eats a diverse range of mostly whole foods. Now, according to Michael Greger, MD, a whole foods plant-based diet is the most successful intervention for losing weight beyond calorie counting and exercise ever published in the peer-reviewed literature. So that's pretty powerful. We're talking about possibly, scientifically speaking, one of the most predictably, beneficial pathways to choose. So just to take a look at 4 of her recent posts, I can see brown rice, I can see fresh spring onions, I can see sweet corn, avocado, we've got chili. What have we got in there? Looks like we've got some sprouting vegetables. That looks to me like some kind of veggie chili con carne with flaked almonds, lentils. So much is in front of me right now. And this is just from 4 meals. And this is kind of possibly the most important thing when we talk about eating fiber-rich foods will make you feel full. And ultimately, they don't come with much fat nor calories. If you are struggling to lose weight, if you're struggling to gain health, then take Maria's story as proof that it's completely possible to do this. Now, I wouldn't recommend aiming to start this today and be done in 2 years' time, and I don't think Maria is either. I would aim to start today and make every single day from now, working towards your goal, changing that perspective on food and lifestyle. Try and make it your habit to work towards what you want to achieve. Don't restrict yourself. Don't cut calories out of your life. Don't start eating things that you don't like. Explore new foods, and trust me, a whole foods plant-based diet does not have to be boring. There's so many, different flavors out there. With over 250,000 edible plant species out there, you could be eating different foods every day for the rest of your life if you really wanted to. I think if there's one thing that most nutritionists in the world will agree on, because trust me, it's very little, I would say it's that a broad and diverse spectrum of plant foods, now that's, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whole grains, a broad, diverse, plant-rich diet, generally speaking, will help you achieve these goals. It's hard to gain tons and tons of body fat from a diet that isn't rich in fat. So there's Maria's story. I personally find it absolutely amazing. She's come a really long way in what seems to be a really short space of time. This is proof that the plant-based diet, it really can make a difference for you. And not just Maria, but her husband Des too. If you want to know a little bit more about how Maria achieved this, I've put it all together in one little document for you, and that's available for you to download for free at goplantbased.me/Maria. Speak soon.